G'day and welcome to Indonesia. About 10 years ago, I dreamed up a list of places I'd love to visit, experiences I'd love to have in my life. And high on that list was visiting the Komodo Islands in search of the dragon. I had no idea just how special this place would turn out to be. Welcome to Patrick Davis Adventure, a channel devoted to getting out and feeling inspired. Subscribe for ongoing adventures. Let's go. We have come to Komodo in search of giants, dragons, mantas, and turtles. To guide us on our journey, we've joined a 3-day, 2-night liveaboard dive trip that will take us to some hard-to-reach places and maximise our time under the water. Komodo's location at the crossroads of geography and ocean currents creates an almost perfect storm for wildlife and scuba diving. The Komodo National Park lies in a transition zone between two regions, West Asian and Australian, with animals evolving in isolation resulting in ancient and unique life forms. There are over 1,000 species of fish and hundreds of corals, strong nutrient-rich currents and cold water upwellings mixed with tropical seas. The region is home to the tiny pygmy seahorses and nudibranchs, all the way up to huge mantas, reef sharks and whales. Some clear water had us excited for coming days, but as the friendly turtles and colourful fish clocked off, we were about to dive into the inky and mysterious depths of those same waters, but by night. Lara's first night dive.
Nervous, but I can't wait to see what it's like underwater in the dark and all the animals.
Scuba diving by its very nature can be an alien experience. The weightlessness, little peripheral vision, and breathing compressed air. And diving at night ramps it up a few notches. Visual references, such as the sun taken for granted throughout the day, are lost, which can contribute to disorientation. The sound of your bubbles and the clicks and cracks of the reef are amplified, and you're limited to the narrow beam of torchlight. The sea can take on a more sinister air, and although it's never wise to touch reef or structure as your body and mind seek physical reference and balance, one must be very mindful of the stonefish and scorpionfish lying perfectly camouflaged and possessing sharp, venom-filled spines. You're about to hear a metallic clanging, our dive master snapping us to attention. I was expecting an emergency, an underwater earthquake or the arrival of Jaws. Instead, an exquisite pink spiny seahorse, anchored to soft coral with its prehensile tail. At first glance, I thought this might be the elusive pink zebra seahorse or pygmy seahorse, but a closer look revealed this gem.
Oh, amazing!
The wait was almost over. Tomorrow, dragons. Our morning starts with a sunrise hike to one of the most photogenic spots in the region. We're on Padar Island, between Rinca and Komodo, notable for its 3-bay viewpoint. A hike to the viewpoint takes about 30 minutes and is best enjoyed at sunrise or sunset, and is offered on many of the day trips from Labuan Bajo. So this is our first stop in Komodo National Park. We've just paid our national park fees. After we head back to the boat, have some coffee and some breakfast, our next stop is on Komodo Island. It's been on my bucket list for a really, really long time. You're excited to see the dragons?
Oh, yes.
Each bay has a different colour due to the sediments. A white sand beach, a black volcanic beach, and a pink beach made up of sand and crushed red coral. Just had a lovely morning hike to watch the sunrise. We are sweating bullets, so humid.
All for me.
Oh, there's a deer.
Yeah, it's called Komodo for dinner. Food.
We're here with Rindu, our Komodo Island guide. You live on the island?
Yes, we from here, from Komodo Island. And wild pig, you see?
Yeah.
They have the tree.
Yeah.
Yeah. You see, Dora?
We didn't have to wait long before our target species made a confident entrance, its front leg swinging like a prime Conor McGregor. The Komodo dragon, the biggest living lizard on Earth. Check out the muscular, flat head, their thick, scaly, armoured skin, claws built for tearing and shredding, with a long forked tongue building a three-dimensional scent map of its surroundings. When Western scientists and sailors encountered these giants in the early 1900s, these apex predators resembled real-life dragons of medieval legend. Though to local Indonesian communities, names include Ora or Wayadarat, which translates as land crocodile. In Australia, I'd seen big lace monitors about this size, but this next specimen was a true giant. In the reptile world, to preserve energy, you don't move if you don't have to, and this guy knew he was boss. Dragons rely on stillness, camouflage, and sudden explosive bites to take down prey as large as water buffalo. And despite humans not being on the menu, there are recorded human fatalities. Whilst their bacteria-ridden mouths were once thought to be the slow downfall of their bitten prey, more recent research shows specialist venom glands in their lower jaws. Once bitten, the venom prevents blood clotting, induces shock and causes paralysis. But where are those teeth made for slicing? Even with my telescopic lens, at rest, the teeth remain hidden in the gums, but in a split second they are capable of devastating damage. I was a happy camper, and our adventures continued to Pink Beach, which we'd viewed from afar in our morning hike. The sand gets its colour from fragments of red coral reefs that break down and wash ashore, and also little microscopic organisms. The surrounding waters are part of the Coral Triangle, one of the most biodiverse marine areas on the planet. During past ice ages, many reefs elsewhere died off. The Coral Triangle, sometimes called the Amazon of the seas, remained warm, with species surviving and diversifying. There are icons like clownfish, species that are far more camera shy like this stingray. And stay tuned for the most inquisitive sea turtle I've ever met.
The Manta, it becomes Manta Point.
Yay.
Our next dive's at Manta Point, famous for its notorious currents. Komodo sits between the Pacific Ocean with its warm, nutrient-rich waters and the cooler and denser currents of the Indian Ocean. Massive tides rip through steep walls, pinnacles and seamounts, creating eddies, down currents and challenging scuba conditions. The currents are a food delivery system, supporting a living reef pumping with plankton blooms and fish aggregations. It's always a positive sign to see an ecosystem that supports predators such as this resting bamboo shark and this whippy reef shark. Keep a close watch on the scales between the eyes and the nostrils. If you're quick, you'll count 4, one of the key distinguishing features of the hawksbill turtle. Now watch for the serrated edges of the shell and the overlapping scutes. And here, the narrow head and hooked beak. At least 2 species of sea turtle are well documented in Komodo, and here we get a good look at the green turtle. Check those scales between the eyes and nostrils. For these guys, only 2. And this beautiful creature is only too happy to show off this key characteristic of its species.
Almost 70. Yeah. Your best one yet.
Yeah.
I've been chewing through it every other dive.
So we just dived at a place called Manta Point, and it was a drift dive, and the current was reasonably strong. There was a manta in the water off in the distance. The visibility wasn't great, but some of us were lucky enough just to catch a glimpse of the wings. I struggled with my mask, I couldn't get it right, so I had a bit of a stressful dive, but we were lucky to see a nurse shark, a reef shark at the end, and I even had a very inquisitive turtle come right up to the camera. It's an excellent dive, amazing day today, seeing Komodo dragons for the first time, and we do have one more opportunity to see the manta tomorrow, so fingers crossed.
Scary to start with, then I got used to it. It's a weird feeling not being in control of where you're moving. You just go, you have to go with the flow.
Anchors up and the sea around us bubbled to life with fizzing and shimmering baitfish. In the next episode, I'm celebrating a milestone birthday in Madagascar, a paradise for lovers of wildlife and a country full of colour and surprises. Over 100 lemur species, masters of camouflage and mimicry, rainforest, moths bigger than some dogs. Tune in next week for more adventure. Hang around as later in this episode we resume our search for mantas and come across some giant reef sharks.
So this is our final day on our liveaboard here on the Komodo Islands. This morning our first dive is called Batu Balong. It's a pinnacle that goes down to about 20 metres and according to our guides is one of, if not the best dives. Lots of sea life, lots of vibrant corals that are in really good conditions and heaps of fish. So really looking forward to it, even though we're still waking up.
Still snoozing.
We're still into it.
So glamorous.
3 dives planned for today. So Batu Balong this morning. After some breakfast, we're heading to another place where there's a possibility of seeing Manta. Finally, we've got one at a place called Coral Garden this afternoon. So we should be getting back to Labuan Bajo at about 3 o'clock and we'll spend the night tonight before a couple of nights in Bali.
Here we have another wide-tip reef shark. It is close to a few metres long, certainly longer than I am tall, and they don't get much bigger than this. This is a beautiful big female. Notice the absence of claspers and look for the scarring around her gills and pectoral fins. This is indicative of a mature and actively breeding female, as male sharks bite the females during mating. White tips rest during the day, and it's common to see them stationary on coral ledges, caves, and even out on the sand. They are one of the few sharks that can truly rest without swimming, as they pump water over the gills to stay breathing. Their timid nature during the day belies a predator perfectly adapted to its environment. This is a nocturnal hunter, and it squeezes into caves and cutouts to hunt crustaceans and octopus. I was loving all of these new and colourful fish, but I couldn't shake the thought that time was running out to see the manta. I was so grateful for what we'd seen so far, but I can get a little fixated, even greedy, and I was hoping we'd have some last-ditch success. We are diving around Mawan Island in central Komodo National Park. The currents really pump through this site, so careful consideration goes into planning around times and tides. We entered near a coral garden, descending slowly through perfect light. Coming up is one continuous shot. No sharp cuts, filtering out the best bits, or clever editing. I'd love to share a moment with you as we experienced it. Listen for this hawksbill crunching into the soft coral. And keep an ear out for the clanging from the metal tank. The mesmerising manta and a special moment of connecting to the natural world. Rare for an experience to be both calming and heart in mouth. And then the unexpected, as an almost fully black giant oceanic manta glided in and nearly blocked out the sun with its enormous size. These oceanic mantas can get up to 7 metres wide at their wingspan, the largest ray on Earth. This despite feeding on plankton smaller than a grain of rice. Though not an altogether uncommon sighting in this region, still much rarer than the reef species. Like our fingerprints, the markings on their backs and bellies are individual. If anyone's aware how to identify if this is a known animal, please comment below.
That was amazing.
Only know you've been high when feeling low. Only hit the road when you're missing home. Only know you love when you let it go. If I say just a little bit.
We wrapped up our time in Komodo at a site full of fish of all shapes and sizes. Remember, Komodo sits in the Coral Triangle between Indonesia, Papua New Guinea and the Philippines. There is extreme habitat diversity, with each microhabitat favouring slightly different traits. On these reef systems, food types are very specific and competition is intense, so small advantages matter. A minor colour variation, a slight difference in jaw length, different feeding times or depths, the differences are so subtle that you really need a freeze frame and a clear picture to work out the species. We had a brilliant time and we'll be back for sure for more exploring.
On the can. Well done. Cheers, mate.
If you've got tips on your favourite places to visit or wildlife experiences, we'd love to hear about them in the comments.
Hey, thank you.
Very happy.
See you in Madagascar for lots of lemurs and much more. Thanks for watching.